Hello, welcome to the 360 show with GolfOnline, talking today about Alex Noren. Just won the British Masters. He's won 3 times this year on the European Tour. He's having an amazing year. Let's have a look at maybe his golf bag a little bit, his attitude that he's mentioned in interviews, and also, very importantly, his great golf swing. Let's get stuck in. So Alex wins yesterday the British Masters at the Grove again, got ahead, stayed ahead, did a very similar thing. We watched him, or myself and coach watched him for last 9 holes. We followed him inside the ropes at the Amigo European Masters in Switzerland, Grand Montana, and it was amazing to watch actually, because the calmness of this guy, the kind of, not only the enjoyment you could see he was having between him and his caddy, but just the calmness and coolness that he went about his business was quite impressive. Not the longest driver out there by a long means. He is certainly not, if you were to stand behind him on the tour range, obviously you'd be impressed with the way he hit the ball, but you wouldn't, but it's not like a Rory or a Tiger or a DJ way of hitting the ball, which would kind of blow you away. It's a gentle little fade, or has his stock shot. Seemed to had a lot of control over the putter. Love the way he had no practice swings with his putter also. Don't know if you noticed that, kind of set himself and then just went slightly reverse grip he used with his hands as well, very low and forwards with his hands. An interesting player. So let's take a look at his golf swing. I love his golf swing. I've loved his golf swing for quite a while actually. What I'm going to do to start me off, I'm just going to draw a line on here, and I'm just going to make it 3-dimensional. Let's get it into 3D space. Now just look at where his feet are here. So he's going to hit a fade, and what we're going to see in a second, about there, his feet are pointing kind of straight down the range. In fact, what I'm going to do with this line is I'm going to copy it. And we're going to go to this one, we're going to make that 3-dimensional, and I'm going to put that one along the line of the ball. So basically those 2 lines in 3-dimensional space, if you like, are parallel. So his feet line and his ball to target line, always great. I love doing this because it shows you very much how 3-dimensional space can kind of skew people's ideas of where things are pointing, which I think is interesting when people start talking about certain lines. So look, there's his feet line on the left, and then we see his ball to target line on the right. Now, as we take his club back, you're going to see why I've drawn them on in a second. The other thing actually before we continue is his hips and his shoulders are very much pointing more left of that line. Hips and shoulders very much look like they're open to that line, left of where his feet line is. Now we take the club back, first parallel, he hits a parallel line with his feet line, which is interesting. As he takes the club up to the top, lovely bit of straightening in the right leg. Alex is very good at loading on the left side. It's almost what people would think of stack and tilt when you stand side onto him. He does look like he's really centered over the ball, not really turning behind it, turning, almost looks like he's pushing down more on his left. You can see that here as his right leg straightens, left leg kicks out. Lots of people see that as a fault, not at all. It's a good movement for lots of golfers. Pretty flat left wrist with his left arm, tiny bit of extension in that left wrist, tiny little bit of extension, not much to talk about. It's a nice compact action, certainly not the highest hands in the world. If you compare that to someone like Thomas Peters, gets his hands almost twice as high in looking as where someone like Alex will get his hands at the top. Now, as we start that downswing, Alex is very quick to get off the back foot, shallowing off that shaft angle, getting the centre of gravity of that head underneath the hand plane, which I love. Now as we get into last parallel here, you got to remember Alex is hitting a fade, so it's right between these 2 frames. He's pretty much in that same position that he went back on, so that kind of same angle. Lots of people here would say that he's a little bit more from the inside. You got to remember Alex is hitting a cut. This shot he's going to hit here starts left and cuts behind target. I took this shot, I watched this shot fly, it was a little fade onto target. So I always think where these angles for people get them so confused with words like shaft plane and into out and stuck behind and out in front, they confuse people more than they help. Now Alex is really pushing off his right foot. we start to see his left foot just slightly start to jump up there as well, which I think is interesting, because you've got to remember Alex started or made his backswing very much on his left side. So turn kind of centred, almost pushing down his left side. So as he starts down, he's almost starting to kind of reverse, really push up through that left side, because he doesn't want to go too much forward, because he's already quite forward at the top of his backswing. Now, I would say Alex is getting to his 0 points here. So this is when the club is at its lowest. I also think this club now is in line with the white line. So if the ball was there and it's not, he's pre-impact here, he would be hitting a dead straight shot. So massive clearance of the hip, left hip higher than right, which I love. Shoulders opening to this target line and feet line down at the bottom. Real pushing off the right foot and off of the left, pushing up off the ground to chuck that club down. Now the club is down at this point. Now when he hits the ball, you can see that club travelling left. So this is lowest point. And that club now is moving up and left. So I would say Alex is hitting on the way up. Callaway posted their standard. This is his equipment because he's a Callaway player after his win. And I've got it here. He's using an 8.5 degree XR driver. So he's got a low lofted. He's using actually the sub-zero. Low spinning, low lofted driver. So 8.5, I wouldn't imagine he's hitting down on that. But he might be. It'd be interesting to see some measured numbers. This one to me definitely looked, he was trying to hit this one a long way. This one looked like he was hitting up. He's definitely swinging left. You can see the ball starting way left of feet line and ball to target line. And this ball cuts back onto target. Really interesting swing from Alex. Very compact, very neat. I love the movement. I love the embracing of the little gentle fade. I also love the fact that for people out there looking at 2D images or even getting taught with 2D images, would look at that and see that as from the inside, from someone who's hitting maybe 4 degrees to 2 degrees out to in with his club path, with a face 1 to 2 degrees open to that face, to path angle 1 to 2 degrees open to that path. It's a fantastic action. I think you can learn lots from Alex, from the idea of centeredness, the idea of keeping everything almost quite safe, not going for the massive shot. I'm sure he could hit it further. Alex, when I measured him, was around a 280, 275 to 280 carry, so not in those kind of dreamy 300 realms that you get Dustin, DJ, Thomas Peters, those kind of players at. But winning 3 times and showing plenty of game. Very interesting as well in Alex's post-match interviews, how much he was saying that he's enjoying the game, playing with friends, taking his time to kind of go out and enjoy it, which is where he has seen his change around in form. I know from the videos I make where people see us enjoying ourselves on the golf course, it's one of the standout comments always about, wow, can't believe how much fun you have. I think it's a really good lesson for lots of you at home. It's as good a lesson as trying to get your swing centered, to trying to get your club path changed, then make sure you're enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, what happens is you'll go and play more. If you play more, generally your standard will improve quicker, or you'll maintain a more consistent standard. Loads of lessons there to learn from Alex. Great player. It was a shame he didn't make Ryder Cup this year. I think we all know it would have been interesting to see how his input would have been. But with our 2-year picking cycle, that's always going to be tricky. He was coming into form very late. But all eyes on Alex for next year. Hopefully he can continue on this fantastic form.